So I've done a few movie rankings in the past, and I'm trying to do a lot more soon. But one thing I've yet to do is rank a director's filmography. So what better way to start than Jon Favreau? Yes, that's a joke, but all jokes aside, I actually really enjoy him as a director. While he makes mostly franchise movies, every single one manages to be so unique and different from each other, and are some of the most iconic movies to my childhood. Plus, he released his first movie in 7 years, Mandalorian and Grogu, which makes for a nice even 10 movies. Without further ado, let's start off with Number 10. When you look at the title for Cowboys and Aliens, you think, that could be interesting. And then you look at the cast and think, wow, this might actually be pretty good. Then you watch the movie. I'm gonna be honest, yes, this movie is abysmal, but I really have nothing to say about it. It's one of the best examples of in one ear and out the other I've ever seen in quote unquote film. It's extremely sad that there are 8 very well known actors here, and the only one I remember is Paul Dano because I remember he had like one well acted scene. Unless you're doing a Jon Favreau ranking like me, don't watch this movie. Not because it's so poorly lit during the night scenes, not because it's hilariously bad, but because you will get absolutely nothing from this no matter who you are. Number 9. Live action remakes are my least favorite type of movies. I'm sure you've heard it before, but live action remakes are completely ruining the movie industry. That said, it's a shock to say that The Lion King 2019 wasn't that bad. It was just regular bad. Obviously, almost everything good about it is just stuff that was good about the original movie. But honestly, there are some ways this one is better. It's Zazu, literally just Zazu. For a character that I barely remember about the original, he was actually pretty funny in this one. Despite the expressionless characters, the lifelike animation is actually undoubtedly impressive. I actually really enjoy it. Seth Rogen is one of my favorite actors, and Childish Gambino is one of my favorite artists, so I did like their voice acting here. Plus, Gambino's version of Can You Feel the Love Tonight with Beyonce is actually very good. But then they have to go and completely fuck up every single other song from the original. Not a single other one is good. I did kind of like when Timon and Pumbaa sang Lion Sleeps Tonight in the forest, but that scene was ruined by an aardvark walking next to them. I know it sounds weird, but I am irrationally terrified of aardvarks and did not like the inclusion of one. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a live action remake. Everybody knows why they aren't good. Number 8. Made is the first Jon Favreau movie from back in 2001, and it's definitely a weird one to talk about. Most of the time, it's just Favreau dicking around with Vince Vaughn, which is sometimes interesting, sometimes not. But Vince Vaughn's character is the most obnoxious in all 10 of these in the ranking, which really sucks because I've been liking him a lot more as an actor recently. The whole movie is just kind of a big mess, but I actually had a lot of fun with the third act, especially the ending. It's a solid directorial debut, but nothing special, and definitely didn't leave me with much to hold on to. Number 7. I rewatched the whole MCU last year and unexpectedly loved Iron Man 2 a lot more than I remembered. Rewatching it now for this ranking, yeah, it's definitely not as good. Don't get me wrong, it's still fun and enjoyable, just nothing amazing. Most of it is just Iron Man acting like a complete and total sociopath and being a more unlikable version of his character in the first movie, which is insane because Tony is supposed to be unlikable in the first so he can go through a character arc. I really like the court scene at the beginning before he fully gets super unlikable, but I just hate the direction they went with the character. RDJ still gives a great performance, of course, but it's so uncharacteristic for him to do a lot of the stuff he does, like literally try to kill Rhodey. Speaking of Rhodey, though, this is Don Cheadle's first appearance as the character, and he's honestly perfect for the role. One thing I didn't like watching it last year was Justin Hammer, but I honestly did like him a lot more this time because he's not really meant to be a threatening villain, and they do a good job portraying him as a pathetic loser that no one respects, which makes him justified in trying to bring in a more threatening presence in Whiplash. He's definitely not one of the top Marvel villains, but he's not a bad one by any means. Whiplash, on the other hand, is one of the biggest wastes of a cool character from the comics in any Marvel project. His first scene with Tony on the racetrack was cool, but besides that, he really sucks. The ending fight in the forest was pretty cool, and it was overall a good end to the movie, but it just kind of sucks that the follow-up to one of the most respected comic book movies ever wasn't nearly as good. Not a bad movie, but not a great one. Number 6. Yeah, I mean, Elf is Elf. I feel really weird ranking Christmas movies with non-holiday movies because I always rewatch like 30 to 40 a year around Christmas time, and I enjoy them always because I'm in the holiday mood. So I don't always trust my ratings. So I think this is probably a decent place to rank Elf. I don't know what more to say. Will Ferrell gives a great comedic performance, and I love the use of stop motion. Couldn't go a holiday season without watching it. Number 5. For a while, I had Chef on my watch list after hearing good things about it from tons of people, even from people I know that don't like Jon Favreau. I'm happy to report that it was very good. Passion projects are one of my favorite types of movies because they always just feel so fresh and are normally a nice, easy watch. I could totally see this one getting better on rewatch for sure, but fifth place is absolutely nothing to scoff at. It's really cool seeing all the actors that Favreau collaborated with in the past come together to help bring this project together, probably taking huge pay cuts in the process. I especially liked RDJ's cameo, but other actors like Bobby Cannavale and Scarlett Johansson are really cool to see too. But of course, for a movie called Chef, it has to have good cooking scenes, and it definitely does. I have a weird palate when it comes to food. Like I like to try everything to the point where I'd call myself like a foodie or whatever the term is. But a lot of the food in this movie is stuff I don't normally love. But the expertly crafted cooking scenes have my mouth watering the entire time. I really like how there's no conflict for the entire last hour. It's just a guy trying to bring his dream to life while bonding with his son and his friend. Saying this now really makes me want to watch it again, and I suggest you watch it too if you haven't yet. Number 4. Since I put out my Star Wars ranking and full review for it, there's been a lot of negative reviews for The Mandalorian and Grogu, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I disagree with all of it. Like I said, I already talked about it in 3 videos, or this is the 3rd video now, I think. But I'll just say that I caught this at a perfect time. I came down with a pretty bad cold, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I had already bought the ticket, so I went to see it anyway. And once I got to the theater and sat down, I instantly forgot about my cold and just got swept up in all the cool Star Warsiness and had a great time. There was a dad who brought his kid that was dressed in a Mandalorian costume, which just, I mean, it just really warmed my heart, honestly. Plus, I got free movie posters on the way out, and that all made me happy. So yeah, sue me. I really like this movie. Number 3. Zathura is one of those movies that was an absolute favorite of mine as a kid and is aggressively my type of thing, which makes it still hold up for me now. Outside of the basic premise that's just 100% a Jumanji ripoff, there's so much creativity. It's one of my favorite comfort movies to rewatch and revisit whenever I get the chance. But speaking of that, I rarely get the chance to. I was scared I actually wasn't going to be able to rewatch this for the ranking because it wasn't on streaming and it wasn't anywhere like free to watch, and I couldn't find it at my local library. But eventually I checked Pluto TV, which I've never checked before, but they actually had it for free on there. But it also had an extra half hour of ads, which was really annoying. So yes, it was a pain to access, but it was worth it if you ask me. I really like this movie. Number 2. I hate that I have to compliment a live action remake this much, but 2016's Jungle Book is honestly incredible. Like, I almost gave it a 9 out of 10 level of incredible. I think this is exactly what a live action remake should be because it takes the original movie and just builds on it and improves on it in nearly every way. This one feels much more adult oriented, going for a darker tone with lots of death and scarier, more menacing villains. Shere Khan feels like much more of an evil presence and is not just an obstacle in the way of the characters. Plus, Idris Elba gives a great vocal performance. King Louis is genuinely terrifying too. The voice cast is really great with tons of amazing actors doing a surprisingly good voice acting job. It's surprisingly well shot too. I keep saying surprisingly, but I mean, it's just a surprisingly good movie. And even if it is just CG, I really like a lot of the shots here. The change to the ending is easily one of the best changes, opting to have Mowgli find his place in the jungle and stay there instead of going to the man village. Not everything is great, like Mowgli's actor can't really act, and like I said for The Lion King earlier, the songs are a whole lot worse. I like Bill Murray, but his voice doesn't really fit Baloo. But besides all that and Kyle only having like a minute of screen time, this is easily one of the best live action remakes of all time. Number 1. And coming in at number 1, the easiest decision I had to make in the whole list is Iron Man 1. 2 through 6 were actually really hard to decide on because I like all those movies, but I knew before watching all of them that nothing else would come in first place. Iron Man is the greatest origin story ever, and I don't really think it's close. RDJ gives arguably the best performance in the MCU, and he does it in the movie that kicked it off. I don't even know what more I need to say. You know it, you love it, it's Iron Man 1. So that's it for my first director ranking ever. Definitely let me know what other directors you'd like to see ranked. I have a few in mind, like Wes Anderson or Lord and Miller, or even some lesser known directors like David Lowery. I have a bunch of new videos coming soon, so stay tuned, but that's it for now.